Good afternoon again, everybody. This is going to be a fascinating conversation with somebody who's disrupted across sectors, industries. Ganesh, thank you for joining us this morning.
Pleasure is mine. When I've been around for a long time, we know each other. We have done this before. So.
Exactly. No, I was just
bald and old people.
I'll soon be getting there. But I was reflecting there on our first meeting almost 25 years ago when I was starting out Meritrack and customer asset happened to be our first customer.
Correct.
I still remember coming into your office, I think even before you were operating out of a small place in Domblur.
Domblur, yeah.
And I remember, being fascinated when you were explaining that this is the BPO. And the first time I'd heard the word BPO or ITES.
Yeah.
Right? And from then on, you've been at it, Ganesh. You've disrupted. I mean, you're the first guys to get started out, among the first guys to get started out on setting up a BPO. And then, of course, with Marketex, much before analytics was fashionable. And subsequently, the magic that you did with Tutor Vista, and subsequently Portea and Homelane and whatnot. So what is that? So two questions, Ganesh, to start off with. What is your mindset? How do you look at industries, sectors, segments, and say, hey, this is something different I'm going to do? And your book also, you talked about the whole disruptors mindset. Maybe we can kickstart with that, with your own experiences.
Thanks for the kind words of introduction. I distinctly remember your Meritrack days and my customer asset. Customer asset, incidentally, is now known as First Source.
Yeah.
It's part of the Sanjeev Goenka group. It's one of the top 3 listed BPOs. At that time when BPO word itself was not coined. No, so firstly, couple of caveats for all of you. All of you are entrepreneurs here in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Caveat number 1, we will talk about some of the nice things and successes, but trust me, for every one such thing, there are 10 other failures and 2 very stupid ideas. We will not talk about it because we look at what the successes and do that. So that's really caveat 1. And 2, being a management graduate and teaching at ISB and IM Bangalore now as adjunct faculty, we are very good at making claims, models. When some things work, we take full credit for it. I will take a lot of credit. And when things don't work, we blame it on the government, on the weather, on pollution, on traffic and all of that stuff. So take it with a pinch of salt. If something sounds too good to be true, take it with a bucket of salt. If you want to know where to buy the bucket of salt, bigbasket.com. If you put TiE or Madan Padaki as the code, you will get 1% discount because e-commerce works on discounts with that. No, seriously, what I'm going to share is my view of it. It's not the only view, and I've been often wrong. So having said that, the way I look at it, Madan, is that in India, we have huge problems that everything is broken. We just heard a fascinating presentation. To do stuff like that is tough. Okay. In India, because everything is broken, and I'm saying that in the good sense. I've lived all my 63 years in India, studied in India, worked in India. So I'm an Indophile, so I love India. But everything is broken, right from traffic to roads to water, electricity. So our thesis across all ventures have been, if you are able to find a pain point, which there are plenty around you, and come with some kind of a way to change the status quo. Use technology, use online, use Indian resources for US market. Do some disruption, is a wrong word. Do something different to challenge the status quo, then you can build valuable businesses. The underlying theme is simple. For us, Indian entrepreneurs, everything is broken is a great opportunity. Not good as citizens, but good as entrepreneurs. 2, thanks to technology, data, analytics, whatever you want to use, if you can come and disrupt the status quo, you can build a large business. And the underlying theme is, I'm not brilliant, I don't have a magic wand, I can't outdo existing Infosys or existing retail operator. But if I deliver online, or I can't do a Manipal hospital you're very familiar with, I can't build a better hospital than Manipal. Okay, right? But if I can do out of hospital care, then I can change it. So common thing, large pain points, core sectors, and some disruptive way of changing the status quo.
Okay. And I think I can see the pattern that you've done that across all the ventures. Now, one of the challenges that we see, or one of the stories that we hear, or things that we see in the market is people are copying models blindly, right? You know, you take delivery or cabs, Uber model coming into Ola, whatever. What is it that, what do you feel about, as you said, the large problems that we have? How do we create our own innovations for the Indian market? And what is your perspective on IP? And I also want to bring in especially the context of DPI, the digital public infrastructure that we're seeing being rolled out at a massive scale, and that's hitting almost every other sector now. If you were to look at that from a technology angle, which is truly the democratization of tech, how do you bring these two together, the innovation and tech, which is now becoming more and more available rather than we having to innovate on tech?
Yeah, I know. I think it's a fascinating question, and that's a great opportunity for all of us now for the next at least 10 years. Okay, right? Democratization and digital public infrastructure. I'll talk about it, but let me first touch upon this copying model. You have seen this, you have done this in Minitrack, which is a different model. I personally feel there is nothing wrong in copying. Okay, right? If you have something working globally, bringing it to India, if you see Tesla, if you see battery manufacturing, if you see electric vehicles, if you see technology being done, trying to do that in India, people may snigger that it's copying, but to me, it's perfectly fine. Okay, right? So one, there is no negative connotation attached with copying business model, Amazon of India, Uber of India, or anything like that. That's Airbnb of India. The second is, like I mentioned, the Indian problems and situation is so unique. Even if you do copy, you have to literally innovate everything. And you have seen the Flipkart race, right?
Yes.
When Flipkart started in India, Indian environment, ecosystem was not conducive to doing Amazon in India. That's why Amazon did not start in India. Why? Credit card penetration was low, online trust was low, cash on delivery does not exist in the US. There was no overnight courier. FedEx in US, overnight shipment is possible across US. That was fundamental for Amazon to succeed. That was not available in India. Third-party couriers and what we have today was not available. I'm talking about 2005, 6, 7, 8 time frame. So Flipkart had to build a payment ecosystem, logistics ecosystem, cash on delivery, returns, reverse logistics, all of warehouses, everything together. So even though it's a copy of Amazon model in India, the amount of innovation is substantially high, and which we see it again and again everywhere. Take healthcare, for example. In UK, it is NHS, it's government way. In US, most of it is insurance, private or otherwise. In India, it's self-pay. 1/3 of the people, less than 1/3 are insured. So you have to solve for a price point differently, for a self-pay differently. So I think at one level, copying is good. If you can copy and execute in India, I think there is enough innovation because of the challenges of India to be able to do it. The other thing, digital public infrastructure is the envy of the world. I mean, you see anywhere you go in the world, they talk about how advanced our digital public infrastructure has become. I mean, in Bangalore, in the center of the city, you will have potholes, but the digital public infrastructure in the remotest place will get you almost the cheapest internet cost. I think that as the basis, just like in US or in developed countries, roads, railroads led to development. Here, the digital public infrastructure is phenomenal opportunity. ONDC, account aggregator. Take Namayatri, for example. Okay, right? It's unbelievable that is there. Also associated with it is the SME margins in India is low. So the traditional way in US SMEs do by listing on platforms and paying a platform fee or platform tax of 25%, 30%, 40%, can't work in India because they don't have that kind of a margin. So you need a Namayatri kind of solutions by which you do it. And again, top opportunity, if you ask me, next 10 years, build on digital public infrastructure available in India. You can build lots of businesses.
Wonderful. I think completely resonate with that thought. I think this whole, when we had done the TiE Global Summit last month, the whole theme was democratization of entrepreneurship. And this whole democratization of tech is playing a huge role in startups coming in from not just Bangalore, but every nook and corner of the country. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can be anywhere. You have access to the same or better quality of internet.
Yeah.
You don't have the pollution that we have. At least Bangalore, we are lucky. But if you go to NCR or something like that, you'll complain about it. You have a different kind of a environment there. Here, you don't have all of this. You have more time, better quality of life, and you can build the same startup.
Exactly.
I mean, TiE Bangalore is doing a lot of effort in the tier 2, tier 3.
Yeah. We now have TiE chapters now in Mangalore, Mysore, Hubli, Dharwad. We are starting off Kalburgi. I was in Gadag last week and I met so many young entrepreneurs who says, why isn't there an entrepreneur ecosystem here? What can we do? So there is a huge...
You'll find next waves coming from there because they have more time, same aspiration,
Exactly.
more hunger and...
Absolutely. And I think, Ganesh, with that, I think we can apply for a entry into the Guinness Book of World Records because we have spent 15 minutes without the word or the letters AI coming into our conversation. Especially given where we are. So let me bring that in before the audience says, what the hell, nobody's talking about AI. Of course, the book is all about mastering disruption and new age business models. And we've seen in the last couple of years how AI is truly bringing in like unimaginable kind of disruptions to everything that we do. What is your take? And as entrepreneurs in this room, what is the lens that we should look at harnessing AI? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I'm happy to share my thoughts, but again, a caveat. I'm a bald old man, okay, right? Trying to understand this generative AI, okay, right? Even for somebody who's been in the technology space is very tough. It's fascinating. And every time I try to think of it, something new happens. So still very early stage, lot of learnings and lot of things have to unfold. But some of the things that have fascinated me in terms of working through our startups or looking at it, one is very clear. See, we had internet, we had website, we had e-commerce, we had apps, we had mobile internet, social media, cloud. They all were, I think, slightly more gradual. Okay, right? That led to a lot of democratization. That people in Bellary can actually do a startup, use cloud infrastructure, and upfront starts are low, plug and play, do API with apps and do that. All of that is well known. Now suddenly this generative AI concept, okay, is going much deeper. And some of the things that fascinates me is how it is able to redefine the workflow. Whatever is the workflow that you're looking at. Let me explain what I mean. Okay, earlier, last 10, 15 years, SaaS from India, SaaS as a global thing, took off. Took off on the basis of the fact that you could do cloud infrastructure, you could do inside sales, you could sit here and sell, which was not possible before SaaS came in. So SaaS, whether Freshworks, Zoho, established themselves. That was fine. Now you're talking, those were all tools for people to use. Okay,
yeah.
Right? And you are replacing an enterprise software like a Salesforce or Oracle with your SaaS software. All good. That's why you have multi-billion-dollar corporation. That's why SaaS taken. Now is really disruptive, to use the cliche. What you're doing is that you're saying, I don't need the human being to use the tools. I can break up the task into modular tasks. I can have AI agents do each of the tasks, talk to each other. Okay, right? So essentially, you've changed the workflow by breaking into tasks, modularizing it, getting AI agents do it. Now, that is a phenomenal shift. Okay, right? Obviously, it will touch and affect everybody. Let me take a simple example. Take case of corporate. Okay, right? You are a president of your company, senior manager. You want to book. You want to travel from Bangalore to Mumbai for 2 days. You have to do a booking. So what was the earlier workflow? Earlier workflow was that your assistant will talk to the admin department or corporate travel desk. They will open Make My Trip or Clear Trip or whatever. They will look at what is your entitlement. Can you stay at Taj? Can you stay at Trident? Can you stay there? They will look at they will ask your secretary, assistant, where your appointments are. Is it early morning? Do you have a breakfast meeting? Should they book there? They will look at your history to see what are the hotels that you have preferred in the past. Should they book near the airport? Should they book near the appointment? All of it they will do. So you have your secretary accessing your calendar, accessing your schedule. You have the corporate travel agent or travel desk accessing Make My Trip and doing that. Then your scheduling software. Somebody accessing the HR system to see what is your eligibility.
Correct.
If it's higher. All of this. So multiple software, multiple people. Now you talk about the whole thing replaced by agentic AI, where you don't need those software. You can go to Indigo and do that stuff. Your past history is there from the database which the agent will see. See, earlier human being needed a software. Now the agent AI doesn't need a software. It just goes through your mail to find out where is it. So the workflow change substantially is going to be the single biggest disruption, and therefore opportunities to do this. The buzzword they use is not software as a service, but service as a software now. Okay, right?
Exactly. And kind of, I think it plays to whatever the theme that we are looking at Venturize as well and Invest Karnataka, right?
Yeah.
It truly forces us to reimagine the way we do things. As you said, it's not incremental. Everything else was incremental. This can be truly a challenge for all of us to reimagine the world using these tools.
Yeah, it is scary and a great opportunity. It is scary because never has been such a kind of disruption available for us to be able to do.
Exactly. And it's available like this and changing every day.
Yeah.
I want to now just shift gears before we open it up for the audience. Ganesh, you've been a prolific angel investor, an investor, a promoter investor. You've kind of changed the way you looked at an investor as well, where you've gone and worked shoulder to shoulder with entrepreneurs building businesses. And in your book, you kind of talk about 3 things that an entrepreneur must look at, right? One, you've talked about revenue streams and how do you build unit economics and margins, and you've been a big fan of this whole subscription model. 2, you've talked about the network effect and how do you really leverage the network effect to grow enterprises. And third, end of the day, the vanity metrics or the sanity metrics, right? And you've seen the whole cycle, the booms and the bust cycles many times over. For entrepreneurs in the room, if you were to wear your investor hat and lens, what would your thoughts and advice be? How should we go about thinking about the businesses that we're building?
No, so I think one, again, while I can talk very nicely about it, wearing a professorial act, the fact is that I've been part and parcel of the ecosystem, being the perpetrator and culprit in many times of all the vanity metrics and of all the excesses that has been there. So please take it with a bucket of salt once again, that this is hindsight and coming this. When I was talking about vanity metrics, somebody said, use this word saying that you are talking about vanity metrics. It's like the saying that says, "So chuhe kaake haj ko chali billi, haj ko chali billi." So we've used all these vanity metrics and all of that in the past to be able to do that. No, I think very clearly from an investor side, the investment cycle goes through, you know this too well, huge upsides and hype cycles and down cycles. So, okay, huge euphoria, everybody wants to invest, over a Zoom call they will invest and all that stuff. Then it goes through a downturn when even profitable, nice, solid businesses will not get anybody, nobody will do it. There are times when you ask for an appointment, you will get appointment next day. There are times when 2 months, nobody will respond. So it goes through all cycles. So right now we are on the down cycle, but that also will come up. So we have seen enough. That's how I lost all my hair. Okay, right? So to be able to go through. So that is fine. So, but vanity metrics concept is interesting. See, it's very important to focus on the right metrics, and I talk about this in the book about chapter on vanity metrics. All of us, including me, get carried away when things are good. We use metrics that positions us in the best light. I don't know, latest if you have heard, all of you have heard, this Disney Hotstar and Unilever are having a major fight. based on vanity metrics. Because November 2025, when the IPL was on, when the Unilever advertised, and Hotstar promised them to give certain number of impressions. All of you know about ad, right? Ad impressions. The Hotstar viewers saw the same Dove ad 150 times in a week. 150 times in a week. Okay. Obviously, social media went up. They were pissed off, saying that we don't want to be bombarded with Dove ads 150 times a week. Okay. Right? So Unilever obviously took it up with Disney Hotstar. Disney Hotstar said, no, we promised you 1 million impressions. We have given you 1 million impressions. Now we are talking about Disney Hotstar and Unilever. Look at the metric. 1 million impression. What Unilever thought was they will get 1 million unique impression, or almost 80% of it unique impression. What Hotstar did was 100,000 people showed it 10 times. That's an example of a vanity metric where it is there. The fight is going on. I don't know how it will get resolved. So using the metrics, similarly we do it with GMV. Okay, right? When our companies are valued on GMV, we show GMV. The discounts are shown not as part of GMV is shown in full, and discounts we show as marketing costs. Okay, returns we show as marketing costs, or other costs we show as GMV. So I think from an investor side, from an entrepreneur side, focusing on the core metric that matters is important. Use vanity metrics. Traffic is good, traffic to your website. But what is the bounce rate? What is the conversion? It's important to get that. The other thing also in metrics is that people confuse between leading metrics and lagging metrics. Okay? You say retention is low, churn is high. That's a lagging metrics. It has happened because of your NPS score is low, or the bounce rate has been high. There are some reasons by which it happen. Focusing on the leading metric to take corrective action will help the entrepreneur. Many of the times, especially happened post-COVID, you had companies which had raised money at large valuation are not able to raise any money. So you see unicorn is shutting down, or companies at this. Happens because the switch between a vanity metrics, which is okay. I also feel good when we talk about vanity metrics. Like somebody sent me a metric saying that your book is #1 seller on Amazon. Okay, right? Which is, I had to make that plug. Okay, right? So #1 seller on Amazon, which is great metric. But that doesn't mean anything. It depends on how many other books were there. Okay, right? No, this is distinctly #1. But what is the number? How many copies got sold?
Exactly.
Okay, right? And if nobody else has launched a book recently, and this is a recent book, it doesn't show it. Okay, right? So that is that. I just will share one interesting thing about metric. All of you have heard of Cobra effect? How many of you have heard of Cobra effect? Cobra effect, yeah, okay. Many have heard of Cobra effect. So this is a story during the British times, when India, they had a lot of cobras. Okay, right? So they said we need to reduce the number of cobras. So they decided to say that you catch a cobra and give it, we will pay you certain money of it. So obviously Indian entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial spirit took over. They started breeding cobras. Okay, and slowly the government's spend on cobras suddenly increased. They realized how come there are now 10 times the cobras than normally that was there, because they were breeding. Then they stopped it. And obviously when they stopped it, people let the cobras out. Okay, right? So wrong metrics, focused on the wrong thing to happen. By the way, it's not unique to India. After all this happened, the Vietnamese copied it. It's called the Hanoi effect in Vietnam. They are not with cobras, with rats. But there they did something which is more stupid. Okay, right? They said you don't need to bring they didn't want the rats to be killed and brought and all that. You bring the tail of the rat. So the Vietnamese people, smart people, did something. They used to cut the tail. Okay, not kill the rat. Leave the rat in the sewer so that the rat will breed further and further. So it was an exponential increase in the number of rats and exponential increase in the number of tails. Because even with tails, the rat can still breed. Okay, it used to happen. So that's an example of focusing on the right metric and not on the wrong metric to be able to.
Yeah. And, talking of cobras and rats and the speed of delivering cobras, suddenly I was reminded of the speed of deliveries that we are getting in our homes, the new new thing that we're getting used to, the tsunami of quick commerce that's hitting us. I just want to pick your thoughts on saying, if you were to apply the same metrics and look at the quick commerce revolution, where do you see that going, Ganesh? I mean, I'm sure you have a ringside view of the battle in that space.
Yeah, I mean, Tata's own 66% of big baskets. I'm not on the board anymore. We still have balance stake they do it. So I don't know full inside view, but some of the things simple. Incidentally, the quick commerce thing has caught all of us, including people like us who had investment in the space, by surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't imagine, even now I can't really imagine what is the need of getting a Skoda car in 10 minutes or getting a phone in 10 minutes. Nothing happens in 10 minutes. You can't walk out, you can't cover 1 kilometer in 10 minutes in Bangalore, but we want thing to be. Food I can understand. You feel hungry during lunchtime, you want to order, you think about ordering at 12:30 when it's lunch and you want it to come. I can understand that. But groceries, suddenly you will not run out of this. I mean, just not understand. So when it started, it looked like a fad.
Yeah.
It looked like the typical thing that we call this the Koramangala crowd. Koramangala crowd basically is something, whatever you launch, they will download the app and they will try it out, okay, right? But that's not the real market, okay, right? It never will cross the chasm. It will never scale to a large thing. So we ignored it. But fast forward to today, consumer behavior has changed. People want in Q-commerce, if it's available in 10 minutes, they want it in 10 minutes. Why wait for 1 hour? So, and Big Basket obviously was caught by surprise. Also a challenge that a large existing leader cannot respond to everything immediately because they have to see whether it's there. Now they have caught up, but it was a late starter after Zepto and Blinkit and Swiggy on this. It is there to stay. I mean, it's what can I say? Very, very surprised as to where consumer behavior. What it is doing is more interesting. Okay, right? Now, quick commerce platform have become significant power players in the FMCG play. Okay, right? So, if you're FMCG brand, you need to have it in Q-commerce platform. Otherwise, you're getting there. Earlier, the game for FMCG majors used to be different. What was the earlier game for FMCG majors? Mass media advertising, create a pull brand, distributor, wholesaler, Unilever will have retailers till the villages. So that was the game. Okay. Second game, one game change happened, not significant, was the e-commerce where Flipkarts and Big Basket of the world had centralized warehouses from there they used to deliver. But Q-commerce has completely changed. Okay, right? That you need to be on Q-commerce platform. So if you look at Q-commerce platform, the revenues and the money is really coming from the discounts and the promotions given by
the brands.
That's one change. Second thing which is very concerning, and there's a lot of talk about it, is for the first time the Kirana stores are under threat. Earlier with Flipkarts of the world or even Big Basket, Kirana store was not the problem. People used to still go because Big Basket used to cater to your monthly top-up purchases. It used to replace your Metro Cash and Carry or Reliance Retail or those places, not the Kirana stores. Kirana stores are under a huge threat because Q-commerce can really take over. And the third thing that we are fascinating stuff is Q-commerce is no longer about grocery alone. You're talking about everything, white goods on this. So very fascinating. Still early days, caught by surprise, but it's there to stay. I don't think any of us can do it with Q-commerce.
I mean, I laughed when somebody said we're going to deliver 10 minutes. Now our house orders some 4 times a day, and it's all 10 minutes mein aa jayega na, so kya hai? And the interesting fact on this, Ganesh, is that the order value when you order that 10 minutes is never a large value, right? But the whole unit economics is always that stuns me to say, because when you're placing a 200 rupee, 300 rupee order, how will you ever make money?
That's exactly the thesis we had, and to be fair to us who were proved wrong, there were apps like TinyOwl and others which came up and which shut down. Because the unit economics will not work. Even today it is not working. If you see the latest Swiggy and Zomato results and all that stuff, the losses they are carrying on behalf of Q-commerce is substantial. But the fact is consumer behavior has changed.
Okay, so I think, with Ganesh, you can have a conversation on roti, kapda, makan, health, education, anything and everything, because you build businesses across. But let's take a pause here. We will take a few questions from the audience. If we can have the mics go around, please. Yes, there, we'll come there. We'll take 2, 3 questions, 3, 4 questions together and come back for a final conversation.